real quickly before we jump into the video, I want to let you guys know that we're getting back on that stream grind, so if you're interested in coming out, hanging out, saying what's up, or whatever it may be, there's a link down below in the description that'll take you over to my Twitch page if you guys want to toss a follow. That said, we'll be live tonight, and maybe even by the time you're watching this, it might be live at the very moment. So if you're interested, link in the description below, but back to the regular scheduled content. Earlier in the day, we talked a little bit about Outrider and everything you need to know about the brand new specialist coming to Black Ops 4 as a part of Operation Grand Heist, and in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the brand new weapons, the new camos, as well as the new Mastercraft within what may very well be the new contraband stream for this new operation. So if you're looking for first impressions, general relativity about the weapons at hand, and maybe even some best classes with it, then you came to the right place, because we're going to be breaking down all that here in this video today and let you guys know everything that you need to know about the new weapons, the new camos again, and the Mastercrafts, and if they're worth it. Are they worth grinding out and trying to go real hard for once the operation first drops? That said, before we jump into it, huge thank you to my friends at Treyarch and Activision for flying me out to the studio and let me get some hands-on footage here of this early, and of course with this dropping tomorrow, you guys will get your hands on it in just a little bit of time. So starting out at the very beginning here, firstly, what are the new weapons? We end up having one melee, one shotgun, and one SMG. No rifle, no LMG, no sniper, nothing like that as of right now, though I wouldn't be surprised that, especially given what the Barbarians event offered within Operation Absolute Zero, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some new DLC weapons halfway through, maybe 3/4 of the way through the event, like what we saw with that mini operation. So for this, we end up seeing the Switchblade X9 is the SMG, the Rampage is the shotgun, and the Cha-Ching is the melee weapon. Now, these are pretty cool weapons, and in the grand scheme of things, I don't think that they're necessarily pay to win or anything like that. They seemed relatively balanced with their classifications of weaponry, and even in some regards may have been underpowered compared to some of the counterparts. So it's not like you're gonna jump in and have to grind out the game to get the next god tier weapon, but they are some fun to play around with and new things to test out in their own right. Now, I would imagine these are introduced via the contraband stream. Again, we didn't have the availability of the contraband stream at this recording event, so I can't confirm nor deny at the very moment, but again, in just a very short few hours, we'll be able to check that out. As of tomorrow, that will be available for everybody in common knowledge, but my guess is they're going to be in the contraband stream as 25, 50, and 100 once again for those tier rewards, like with what we saw of Operation Absolute Zero. Now, as for the SMG, the Switchblade X9 is, again, probably that one that will be tier 100 and is more than likely going to be the one the most sought after out of these weapon drops. First things first, it's a very mobile SMG, full auto and with a fast fire rate, and it's pretty decent. Doesn't have the best damage output from what I would say, again, just preliminary testing. We only played a handful of matches here at this, so I couldn't tell you the exact specific damage properties the weapon will have and give you a full-on breakdown just from that short period of time that I had, but I'd say it's pretty much a middle ground between, say, the Spitfire, maybe the MX-9 possibly, but the one larger downside compared to, say, the Spitfire is that the feel of the weapon is that you'll burn through ammo fast. With the Spitfire, it might just be me already being accustomed to it, but I know my limits with it and how much I should challenge before having to reload, but it seems like you do burn through ammo very fast with the SMG. The damage output, again, doesn't seem to be the greatest, but it also makes it better at close quarters, though, and again, coming back to the Spitfire, that's a close quarters weapon as well, so it fits the bill to kind of be like a little hybrid between those two weapons we just mentioned. You can range people, but it'll be much harder, and of course, with that damage output mixed with the fire rates and the magazine capacity, you're gonna have a little bit tougher of a time doing that than just, say, challenging them up close. I will say 100% though, the base weapon definitely needs some attachments here with it. I guess you could say that about the other weapons as well, but definitely make sure you want to have some attachments unlocked, so the first couple of games while you rank it up to get those attachments might be a little bit painful, but hopefully you get through it. As for my preferred loadout here with this one, I found that I really enjoyed the Switchblade with 4 attachments, so automatically 2 primary gunfighter wildcards out of the way, that being with the quick draw, grip, hybrid mags, and rapid fire. Quick draw obviously helping you get up to ADS faster, grip, because at range it can be a little bit crazy, and that mid-range is sometimes very important. Hybrid mags allowing you to have faster reloads plus more ammo, which is great, and then rapid fire kind of negating the ability to have more shots in your magazine, but I digress. Still a great combo though for that loadout. Then I run Stim Shot with Scavenger and Dead Silence. Scavenger though is easily interchangeable. I only ran it on this because usually I'm a crash main, but having the ability to play around with Outrider, I would need some ammo if I stayed alive a little longer, but I also wasn't using Outrider every single game, so just had that kind of laid out as that default. As for the shotgun, well, if you remember the Brecci, yeah, it's kind of back. Unlike the SG-12, this shotgun is actually full auto, and it can pack a punch, but though unlike the Brecci, it seems like the time to kill is slightly slower, and the range is shorter. So on the bright side, it's definitely not as bad, but for players that don't really like shotguns, well, there might be a little bit better options than the ones currently available right now before the operation actually kicks into gear. Though admittedly, I'm not really worried about this one as much because it's a secondary, so outside of the initial time that it's earned to start the event, you're probably not going to see it all that much. And if I'm honest, you're probably not going to run into it all that much to begin with because it's probably going to be that tier 50 reward. And again, outside of that, secondary, you might maybe see it whenever somebody's first experimenting with it, but maybe not so much after that. But snipers, it's definitely a decent weapon to have at your disposal, but I'd still probably take the Cap 45 over that. In close quarters, though, it absolutely shreds. You'll see that I'm holding down the one control point with absolute ease because people are just running right through it. And admittedly, I didn't get as much gameplay as I would have liked here with this, but firstly, shout out to my good buddy Ocean. His link will be down there in the description below. He came in and kind of saved the day here with this one by giving me some extra footage that he ended up grabbing of the shotgun. But the preferred loadout that I'd end up using here at this one is the Rampage with 4 attachments, so 2 secondary gunfighter wildcards out of the way right up front. Then with the stock, max load, quick draw, and grip. The max load attachment is the only one that's new here that you might not really understand all that much about, but that offers 2 more pellets per shotgun shot, so you have the potential for more damage up close and personal. Additionally, I'll run stim shot and scavenger with dead silence, again, same loadout and same reasoning as the switchblade classification we just detailed. And the final thing we'll talk about is a little bit of that Cha-Ching melee weapon. There's really not much to say here. It's another melee reskin that we've seen, and is it as practical as other weapons within this operation? Obviously not so much because it is a melee weapon, but it is pretty funny. It fits the theme of Operation Grand Heist in the sense that, well, it's a money bag. You can put some camos on this, which makes it look actually pretty quirky and pretty funny, but outside of that, it's just your melee weapon that I would use just for fun, I guess. There's not really too much practical use for it. You're not going to go on a high kill gameplay with it. You might get a nuclear if you're really good, really patient, and can have some of the best luck out there, but for the most part, it's just another melee weapon. That said, that's the 3 weapons here within Operation Grand Heist, at least debuted so far. Presumably going to be that 25, 50, and 100 tier rewards for the contraband stream, as with what we saw with Absolute Zero. But we also have a few things outside of that. We have 2 reactive camos and 1 Mastercraft that I want to lay out for you guys here that I think are really cool and you guys are going to enjoy. These are probably either going to be in the actual contraband stream or maybe one as of that Mastercraft because it was actually data mined in Operation First Strike. Might be in reserves, but I'm thinking it's going to be in the contraband stream. But before we jump into it, I just want to let you guys know these are not going to be the only things available in the actual operation itself. If you guys watched the trailer that debuted a few hours earlier, you'll notice that there were a bunch of new camos and even some different weaponry, one looking like a strange rocket sledgehammer and then a magnum as well, with a bunch of other different things scattered throughout that trailer. But unfortunately, we didn't have the opportunity to play with those. They were not in the build that we had, so there's definitely going to be more stuff coming, but as for the stuff that we got a hands on with and I can preview a little bit early for you guys, this is what we have on deck. So the first thing that you'll end up seeing here at this one is the strip reactive camo for the Vapor XKG. There's a couple of different phases here with this, 7 to be exact, in which it follows very similarly to the Titan's reactive camo of 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30 kills with the respective phases, and this one looks really cool. Again, playing into the more so money bag theme of this and playing into what is also released of the casino map. It's in the theme of a slot machine with a bunch of different lights and all things that make it look really cool, and I really enjoy this one. I think that this one is probably my favorite of the 2 reactive camos. If we swap over to then the Swordfish, that's where you end up seeing the next reactive camo, in which it's called APB, playing into the map Lockup's theme of cops and robbers and sort of the police theme with that, where there's 4 different phases for 1 kill, 2 kills, and 3 kills. Now, as for what these camos will require you to do to unlock them, we didn't have that information readily available, but it is something that they do look really cool, I think. And the final thing we'll talk about is real quickly that Mastercraft, in which it doesn't really follow the same pattern as what we see with the rest of the items in Operation Grand Heist. This one is more so a sort of steampunk vibe. You end up seeing that there are valves and a gritty texture here to this, but when you get into the phases, that is where it gets really cool. Unfortunately, my footage from the event, in which I ended up capturing the side profiles of them in the main menu where we can actually preview the phases, unfortunately that file corrupted, so I don't have the side-on angles of it, but you can still see it in the gameplay in the background provided by my good buddy Dex. Again, link in the description below. He's a lifesaver with this kind of stuff, but it is really cool. You end up seeing that it has the sort of purple lightning, and then once you get a little further on, there's also the red electric theme as well, and it just looks so cool. And again, talking about with the update coming tomorrow, we end up seeing that there is going to be a massive buff to the auger, or I guess massive depending on how you look at it, but regardless, it's getting improved to be better than it already is, which again, having talked about it, it has the fastest time to kill of any weapon that is not a one-shot kill. So it's gonna be fantastic, and I'm definitely gonna be trying this one out here with it. I would assume, again, it's in the contraband stream, but we don't know exactly for sure. But that said, that is the brand new weapons, the brand new camos, and the brand new Mastercraft so far debuted to us, at least at this early event that I'm, again, thinking is more than likely going to be in the contraband stream, but I guess we'll see as of just a few hours from now when everything launches in under one day. And closing out the video with, again, the idea of if they are worth it or not, I think that these ones are, again, more balanced more so than the other weapons, so it's not going to be something that is super pay to win or anything like that. And while the SWAT RFT and Damon 3XP weren't half bad and weren't absolutely overpowered, I think they were a little bit more at the top of their categories when they were introduced rather than what these ones seem to be. So in that sense, they are definitely worth it to try and play around with some new stuff and grind it out, but I certainly wouldn't say jump in and buy all your tiers outright and get it immediately. I don't think it's that far worth it. But that said, there's still a ton of cool stuff on the horizon that we don't know of exactly how it's going to come just yet, but looking forward to it. And I think that in the terms of is it worth it on the operation as a whole, I definitely think so. I'm excited to grind out the game and get some new stuff in my inventory and play Black Ops 4 in a renewed sense. That said, Operation Grand Heist is going to be coming very, very soon, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I believe, again, 6 p.m. GMT for those of you guys over in the UK. Hopefully, you guys are excited. Hopefully, you're ready to get your hands on these things and grind out a new operation with a whole bunch of new content. But I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. What do you guys think of these weapons? Do you like the fact that we end up having things that don't necessarily seem overpowered? They're a little more balanced than the other weapons I think that we've seen introduced at their first starting points. And also, what do you think of the camos and the Mastercraft? Do you like those? Do you think they're worth grinding out for? Whatever it is, feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But all that said, now the way, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like down below. Of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Black Ops 4. Operation Grand Heist is just kicking underway, so today we got even more videos going live here on the channel, so stick it right here. And of course, tomorrow we'll keep you guys up to date with absolutely everything you need to know running into the better part of the next week. So that said, if any of that interests you, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. And if you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected outside of YouTube. Practically live on both those. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. With that said, another way, thank you guys all so much for watching. Mine is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.